The COVID-19 pandemic has decimated the economy. Shutdowns and restrictions have left small businesses scrambling to adapt, and many have been forced to close. But there are two sides to every coin, and even in these dark times, the American entrepreneurial spirit is strong. As of mid-September, applications to start new businesses are up 19% compared to last year, and applications from businesses likely to hire employees are up about 12% nationwide. So today, More in Common is celebrating the American entrepreneur the best way we know how, by swimming with the sharks. Encouraging a new generation of founders with Mark Cuban.
Business is a sport, you gotta compete. But most importantly, you've got to recognize that you've got to learn all the time.
Celebrating Black-owned businesses with Robert Hershevek.
It doesn't matter how big you are, it is the adaptable that are going to survive.
With a new season of Shark Tank premiering this month, we're checking in with some memorable entrepreneurs from Shark Tank's epic 199-episode run.
Our team has grown from just being my family to having national marketing and brokers.
All that and more coming up on More in Common. Last year, we had a conversation with 16-year-old entrepreneur Tyla Simone. She's known as the Sauce Boss, based in Texas. And now, we've got an incredible surprise as her business is booming.
I call myself Sauce Boss because I have one of the best sauces and I'm the boss at it.
You guys are one of our first interviews. We loved being a part of Localish. Since then, so much has happened. I've won $45,000 in pitch competitions. We're about to launch a new product. We have an investment campaign going on right now.
And as the Sauce Boss, what do you think you need to take your company to the next level?
Well, right now, we are, like I said, building a team. That's really important. And with that team, it will help us get into stores. Right now, that's the biggest thing that can take Sienna Sauce to the next level.
We've obviously loved your business from the very beginning and wanted to kind of continue to show our support. So one of the things we're doing is we want to connect you with one of the ABC's Sharks from Shark Tank.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Literally every Friday night, that is what we are watching, Shark Tank. So this is, such an amazing opportunity.
Mark Cuban is one of America's most energetic investors and entrepreneurs. As the outspoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks and Shark on ABC's Shark Tank, Cuban knows what it takes to be a mogul.
What up? Hey, I'm Mark.
Hi.
Tell me about your company.
So my company is Sienna Sauce, and it's a no high fructose corn syrup and gluten-free sauce that can be used on meat, seafood, poultry, vegetables. It can be used as a glazed dip marinade. Right now, we're selling in Wegmans, and we're also in a few local stores in the Houston area.
What's going to sell this is you, because the reality is there's a lot of great hot sauces. You got to always remember, no one starts a hot sauce company thinking their product sucks. Right? So there's a bunch out there who think they're great, but they don't have you. Because when they buy your product, they buy Tyla, right? They get you, just like they always get me with my company.
Sauce up your life and get you some Sienna Sauce.
Any advice you have for me personally? You gave me a lot of personal advice, but that was just one of my other questions. If there's any gems.
Business is a sport, you got to compete. But most importantly, you've got to recognize that you've got to learn all the time. Probably the couple most important attributes to a great entrepreneur is one, they know their product inside and out, love to sell it. And number two, they're always learning because things change all the time. If you want to be the best, if you want to be the greatest in the game in your product, you have to outwork everybody. And that means taking classes, whether it's in school or online, whatever it may be, on finance, marketing, accounting. You've got to do all those things. It's like dribbling, shooting, and working on your footwork.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Congratulations. See you guys.
Coming up.
Me personally, I was working a 9-to-5, as many of us do, and I just felt very unfulfilled. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. So yeah, I just wanted to provide a space for Black and brown women to acquire the necessary resources.
And later.
My goal for a really long time is I want to be the Hello Kitty of lemonade. So not just lemonade, but other products as well. Like we have lip balms, we have tote bags, but I'd like to partner with other organizations.
This is one of the most important moments of my life.
It's been really difficult with COVID.
Right now, people are going through really hard times.
My dad would have been so proud to see me here today had he been alive.
Shark Tank's back in business.
I think I found my way.
It's the world's first self-cleaning water bottle. I'd be proud to be part of this business.
Woo! I found my way.
Streets here are still paved with gold.
All the hardships, the setbacks, it was all worth it.
Shark Tank season premiere Friday, October 16th on ABC.
So the challenge, one, that entrepreneurs face, or those wanting to start off, especially within the Black community, is simply believing that they can start a business. Les Brown says that he combats the quote that says, I have to see it to believe it. No, first you got to believe it to see it.
Black entrepreneurs, we don't see ownership like a lot of other ethnic or like racial groups that they see. The reason why I started Night Flower was because me personally, I was working a 9-to-5, as many of us do, and I just felt very unfulfilled. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. So yeah, I just wanted to provide a space for Black and brown women to acquire the necessary resources. We know that the professional space is an amalgamation of how we feel about ourselves, how we see ourselves, like the community that we're in, the networking resources that we have, the people that we know. And we can't thrive in those until we feel good about ourselves and we feel like whole.
One of the things we want to do for the two of you is connect you with one of the sharks from Shark Tank.
Oh, snap.
What?
Yeah.
Robert Herjavec is the son of an immigrant factory worker and a self-made multimillionaire. He has all kinds of ideas about how to take a small business to the next level.
Thank you! Oh, what's up?
Tell me how this incredible business, which is a great idea, by the way.
Thank you.
I have a lot of questions. It sounds great. I have a lot of questions.
Olivia says this so eloquently. She says that we're here to take the physical to digital. We had an idea to truly create a space that was global so that entrepreneurs have true collaboration and productivity amidst a pandemic, right? So when somebody immediately logs into virtualcoworking.community, they're immediately taken to their profile. Their profile then gives them access to all of the other members in the community. If you want to do a video conferencing, you literally tap a link and it takes it to your own branded, unique URL.
I love the promise of it. I love what you're giving me. Here's my biggest obstacle with it. I don't want to be a member of any club that'll take me. What are you giving me that another community can't? You need a fundamental differentiator to get people in. But my general advice is adapt. Adaptability is what wins the day. You know, it doesn't matter how big you are. You don't see any dinosaurs walking around the streets. You've got to be adaptable. It is the adaptable that are going to survive.
We appreciate that.
I love the idea.
That's incredible. Run around the house real quick. I'll be right back.
After the break, more incredible entrepreneurs.
If you believe in knowing, and this is deep, you have to believe in knowing what you're doing is helping others, and you have to really do it.
For 11 incredible seasons, ABC's Shark Tank has been helping the dreams of entrepreneurs come true. But what happens when they leave the tank? We decided to check in with 3 inspiring small businesses to find out.
My name is Johnny Georges, and I live in Arcadia, Florida, and I'm the creator of the Tree Teepee.
Tell us just about the Tree Teepee, you know, the idea, where it came from, and kind of the heart that was behind it.
My dad started it in our own orange grove. It came from absolutely nothing. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be poor myself. I know what it's like to be hungry. And I think you have to grow up that way and live that way to have the fire that I have. I really believe that. We put new trees in the ground. We planted 80 acres. And when the freeze night comes, it can freeze all your trees, and everything you just planted gets wiped out. I asked my dad if we could do something different. So he wrapped a plastic sheet around the tree, and we turned the water on inside it. Well, the water's 72 degrees. Well, it's like a steam bath. So he put them on the trees for frost protection, then we'd take them off. And I was like, can't we just leave them on year round?
With the Tree Teepee, you contain the water around each tree in about 30 minutes, you're gonna have 3 inches of rain on this tree.
Say our fuel bill was $100,000 a year. It went down to 25,000.
Wow.
Now we're on to something.
Why only $5? Why not $7?
Well, I've never done that. I've always tried to be right. I make $1 off each one.
There's 2 of us, 2 mouths to feed.
Yeah, but you're selling the farmers.
They said, hey, the price you're charging, there's not a whole lot of margin necessarily. And you said, but you got to do right by the other farmers. It's kind of
absolutely. When that happened, that wasn't prepared. You know, I'm not overcharging these people. They buy 10,000. I sold 7,000 yesterday. I told them I made $7,000 while I was here. And when they wanted to raise it, it upset me. If you believe and know, and this is deep, you have to believe in knowing what you're doing is helping others. And you have to really do it.
I'm out. Johnny?
Yes, sir.
Farmers are the cornerstone of America. There may be a lot of farmers out there that can't afford $12 per tree. I'm going to give you everything you're asking for, your $150,000 for 20%.
Get a call from Shark Tank, go out there, and life's never been the same.
Tell your dad he's a great man.
I worked for that man for 20 years. I thank God that I got to work with that man. He's an innovator. He taught me everything I know.
You speak with such fondness about your father, Rick. How do you think he'd feel knowing what you've accomplished in these last few years?
I would think that he'd say you did good. What I didn't realize, I was the greatest irrigation mind on earth because of my father. My dad invented this thing they call the micro sprinkler. You know, and when my dad died, I'm like, I worked for him for 20 years. And I'm like, you know, what am I going to do? You know, how can you even start to fathom? And then God took over. I didn't get rich, but I helped a lot of farmers. In the end, everything will be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.
I'm Kaylee. I'm Kira.
I'm Christian.
And our product is the Cupboard Pro.
In one of the most memorable pitches in the history of Shark Tank, 3 siblings came forward to pitch an idea conceived by their father, who had just recently passed away.
We all saw him taking cutting boards, carving into them, and as he was getting his prototypes made, that's when our mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, so we kind of put it on hold to really take care of her. And we actually, we lost our mom 8 years ago, so it's been a long journey losing both our parents, but we're just so grateful to have the opportunity to go on Shark Tank and to really continue everything our dad started with it.
3 extraordinary entrepreneurs. Tell us about kind of the evolution of this idea.
So my dad created the Cupboard Pro when I was in high school. I was about Kira's age.
What did it feel like when the Sharks kind of recognized, and you know, in a historical event, all 5 of them got behind your idea?
I've been really just dreaming about this moment for our dad for so many years, because that was his dream to go on the show. So to get the outcome that anyone could ever hope for was pretty incredible, and it really just doesn't feel real.
My dad was the funniest person you would ever meet, and he would walk in the room and you'd see his smile and it would automatically just make you smile.
And his dream was for all of us to have our own businesses. Us, like, continuing this dream is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be so proud, and how quickly this thing has taken off. Over 1 million in sales, is that right?
We sold all of our dad's inventory while it was still airing on the East Coast.
What's your advice to other small business owners trying to get through this tough time?
Just keep believing in your dream and your product and your service, because that's what's going to take it to the next level.
And one of the ways you're honoring your father's legacy is by making charitable donations. Talk about that aspect of the company.
20% of the Sharks' proceeds go back to help firemen that are currently sick with cancer, which is pretty incredible because we've had a lot of support with the FDNY when our dad was sick, so to be able to give back with my dad's product is very special.
It's awesome. You know, and I'm one of 5 kids, and we couldn't even do the dishes together without fighting. How you 3 managed to start a company together is extraordinary. What is the special sauce when working with your siblings?
I think we're all siblings, so we all fight sometimes. But yeah, I think just having the same goal and to honor the same person is just very important. And we're very lucky to have each other and to have our parents' love shine down from heaven.
3 sharks are out. Lori may be interested in Ryan, Eric, and Kevin's removable sole shoe company, Moves, but wants to partner with another shark.
The 3 a.m. shoe, where did the name come from and the idea?
Well, the 3 a.m. was kind of established as an homage to entrepreneurials, who are staying up late at night up till 3 in the morning, kind of working on their passion project. It's up for any environment. So whether you're indoors or outdoors, we have a transitional indoor slipper that allows you to easily walk outdoors by attaching this outsole without having to touch it. That allows you to, tackle the day's challenges.
It would be $200,000 for 1/3 of the company.
Hello. 1/3 of the company. I would like to counter if you're okay with $200,000 for 25%.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
You were featured on Shark Tank. You get the money from Damon, John. And what was that like, and how did that impact your business?
The day that we received the verbal commitment from Damon and his team was, an experience that I'll never forget. Being a Shark Tank fan for such a long time, and as we executed the deal, ultimately it was gratifying. We've been on this journey for almost 4.5 years, so. The sense of validation was overwhelming, and Damon was a shark that we were hoping to land, so it was a dream come true for us.
It aired in April. Obviously, the pandemic changed the way retail has happened. How have you dealt with that and the timing of everything?
The pandemic affected several areas of the business, unfortunately, so we really had to dial it back. Being truthful to customers, letting them know that, this situation was unfortunately out of our control, and we're going to do our best to kind of mediate the delays.
And we even jumped in there ourselves in the warehouse and started packaging, shipping things ourselves just to make sure they got it, fairly on time.
What's your advice and guidance to other entrepreneurs who are trying to get through this tough time in that startup world that's been all the more challenging with the forces of the pandemic?
Before you take the first step, make sure that you're insanely passionate about what you're doing. And to be honest, a bit obsessive, because if you don't have those 2 fundamental qualities, you're going to quit.
And then what do you think's next for your team?
Well, our first responder initiative is a donation charity that, we're going to begin initiating in a couple of weeks. Simply, we're going to be not only donating pairs to first responders, whether that's doctors or nurses, police officers, firefighters, as well as allowing our customers to add $10 to their order and nominate, whether it be a doctor or nurse, and we will absorb the cost of it, ship it for free, as a small token of appreciation, for those who make the ultimate sacrifice every day.
The next thing would be product development, making our product even better, taking the feedback we've learned from all these customers that we've had so far, and just seeing how we can improve the product.
Well, thank you both so much for your time, and good luck with your company.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Good one.
When we come back, it's never too early to start a business.
My mission is to create great tasting lemonade, encourage social entrepreneurship, especially in youth, because I want to show that there's no age limit to who can be an entrepreneur, and then also to make a measurable impact on saving the bees.
When was the last time you tried something so good and refreshing and wondered, could this be good for me? Well, sharks, guess what? I created a product that is both good for you and tastes great at the same time.
My mission is to create great tasting lemonade, encourage social entrepreneurship, especially in youth, because I want to show that there's no age limit to who can be an entrepreneur, and then also to make a measurable impact on saving the bees. So Me and the Bees has grown from being one girl trying to change the world with the lemonade stand to being in 20 stores in Austin, and currently we are in over 1,800 stores nationwide. This is my product, Me and the Bees. The recipe is inspired by my great Granny Helen's 1940s flax lemonade recipe. And so it took a little bit of tinkering around in the kitchen to make it taste great, because we wanted to sweeten it with honey, and I also wanted to add mint. That was our first flavor. But that's where it's inspired from. And now we have 5 other flavors, and it's lemonade that tastes good and does good. So it's a social company. We donate 10% of the profits to organizations helping save the bees. It's made by kids, for kids, and anyone else who loves lemonade. Before I did the lemonade company, I really enjoyed creating things and selling them. Didn't do as well, but I learned that you have to have a product that people want and that there's a need for it. Started doing the lemonade stand, and I was really happy with my lemonade stand. I did it twice or 3 times a year for probably around 3 or 4 years. And it wasn't until a school said, hey, do you mind coming and speaking about the bees, that I realized, okay, maybe more people would like to know about the bees. I could do workshops. And so after doing a workshop at a local Austin store, they said, if you can find a way to bottle your product, we'd like to carry it in our store. So that was the very first store that we were in. And so I'm really happy to say that we have sold 1 million bottles of lemonade as of last year. Our team has grown from just being my family as a hive to having national marketing and brokers and sales and logistics teams. My goal for a really long time is I want to be the Hello Kitty of lemonade. So not just lemonade, but other products as well. Like we have lip balms, we have tote bags, but I'd like to partner with other organizations or just create new products.
It's a deal.
My parents have seen sharks. They are brutally honest, and they didn't want my feelings to get hurt. And initially the response was no by me going on the show. And so after a lot of convincing, I convinced my parents to let me at least do one audition. It was nerve-wracking, but I was really, really excited because my family has watched Shark Tank and seen other businesses who have appeared on it grow, and I really wanted that for me and the bees. We expanded into more stores, and we went from 26 stores to being in, I think, 200 within that year. So when I was 11, I was able to introduce former President Barack Obama at the United States of Women Conference, and it was such an amazing experience. And actually the 3rd time that I was able to meet him, and he gave me a little fist bump before he went on stage and said good luck. I testified in front of Congress to allow kids to run lemonade stands in Texas without a permit in front of their own houses, because I realized that lemonade stands lead to entrepreneurship, and it should be something that all kids can do. The bill was passed. Now kids in Texas are able to start and run a lemonade stand in front of their houses. I balance being a student and a 15-year-old and also an entrepreneur by kind of just splitting up my time. But school is #1 priority during the school year, and I get to spend the summer working on my business and having fun as well.